So taxes are a common concern among many people. Now, there's a misconception about the estate tax. The federal estate tax is actually a tax on the balance sheet, on your net worth at the time of your death. Now, currently there's a very large federal estate tax exemption. And the estate tax laws tend to swing as we have different parties that control the Congress and the White House. The tax laws tend to swing this way and that. Now, currently, unless you have many millions of dollars, you aren't subject to the federal estate tax. But don't be lulled to sleep. For those of you who have residences in northern states that have a state-level estate tax, that's something to worry about. Now, let me tell you a little story, and this happened in our office several years ago. A widow came to our office. Her husband had just died, and we didn't prepare the estate plan. And the estate plan itself hadn't been updated in many years. Well, the widow and her deceased husband had rental properties, and they had many rental properties, 5 or 6 homes that they leased out to other individuals, and this constituted their retirement income. Well, those properties happened to be in a state that had a state-level estate tax. Now, when the estate tax laws changed back in 2005, there was something called decoupling that happened. And they had not updated their plans, so their estate tax formula actually triggered the state-level estate tax at the husband's death. Now, most estate taxes, whether it's federal or state, have something called an unlimited marital deduction. So Bill Gates, for example, he can leave billions of dollars to Melinda Gates, and there's no estate tax at his death, but at her death, then everything is included in her estate that was subject to that marital deduction. So here, when the husband passed away, if there was a proper formula in his document, there would not have been a state-level estate tax, and we probably could have planned around the estate tax when she passed away, the state-level estate tax. Now, what happened? She actually had to sell one of the properties to pay the state-level estate tax. And this is because she didn't update the documents, and they didn't pay attention to the state-level estate tax because they had residences in a state that had a state-level estate tax. Now, what other taxes are we worried about? Income taxes. Now, many of us have IRAs, we have 401ks, we have annuities. Now, what happens when we pull those assets out, when we pull money out of our IRA? Well, we get taxed, right? That's taxed as income. The same holds true for our beneficiaries. Our spouse is the only person who can roll over our IRA. But all of our other beneficiaries, our children, our grandchildren, other loved ones, anyone else who inherits an IRA, it's become an inherited IRA, and they have required minimum distributions in the year following our death. And that doesn't matter what their age is. They don't have to be over 70 and a half years old. Now, annuities are entirely different stories. Some annuities continue on for a surviving spouse. Other annuities terminate. Other annuities have death benefits. But most annuities, when we pull money out, we have an income tax. Now, many individuals don't consider these IRAs, their 401ks, or their annuities inside of their estate plan. They just fill out beneficiary designations. And this can be particularly troubling when we have a blended marriage. For example, I want my wife to inherit my IRA, then I want it to go back to my kids. Well, when my wife rolls over my IRA, she can choose whichever beneficiary she wants. And a difficult thing about IRAs is if we put it inside of a trust with an inherited IRA, the aggressive required minimum distribution provisions for the surviving spouse could deplete the IRA before he or she even passes away. So it's really important when you have a significant IRA, 401k, annuities, that these are considered inside of your estate plan. So although taxes, and particularly federal estate taxes, don't affect many of us, almost all of us are affected by income taxes. And it's a good idea to review these issues with us when we're planning your estate.